Yeah, we going 10 for 10, 10 for 10, 10 for 10, 10 for 10. We going 10 for 10, 10 for 10, 10 for 10, 10 for 10. We going 10 for 10. Who's that? It's Sim. I'm back again. Stay on track. Follow the trend. I'm locked in.
I mean, just to walk in here and see all these fans supporting us is unreal.
That's all you try to do is go out there and focus and do your job and just keep making one pitch at a time.
We on our way to the top, yeah, yeah, yeah. We on our way to the top, yeah, yeah, yeah. They gotta sit back and watch, yeah, yeah, yeah. We on our way to the, we on our way to the, yeah. We on our way to the top.
Look, make sure you mention my name with the greats. Whole lot of talk, but it ain't no debate. We light it up like we causing an accident, but it ain't no mistake. Seat at the table, I carry the weight. They want the beef, so we hide the steaks. Bust in the kitchen and fire the chef.
We on our way to the top, yeah, yeah, yeah. We on our way to the.
Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis. We get ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here locally, but from all around the nation. Hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today on Centex Primetime. We got a lot to talk about here. We'll start with some MCC basketball. We'll talk a little bit about them. They got some wins last night. They'll have a test coming up next week on the road, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some Baylor basketball as they've got a huge game coming up tonight against TCU. The Lady Bears, who have been playing phenomenal, will play against TCU and Olivia Miles coming up in just a few minutes down the street from here at the Pavilion right in downtown. We'll talk a little bit about some NFL as well. NFL draft time is right around the corner. We'll talk about some of the picks I like at each position coming up for this NFL draft. And, of course, we'll talk some NBA as it is NBA All-Star Weekend this weekend. Not sure exactly what we're going to see. We'll talk about that as well. It's not the dunk contest, with Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon in it, or Dwight Howard and Nate Robinson. I don't even know who's going to be in the dunk contest. As a matter of fact, I won't be watching it. But we'll talk about NBA All-Star Weekend and what we can look forward to seeing this weekend. So appreciate everybody tuning in. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. Let everybody know Centex Primetime about to go down right now. Let's jump straight into it, folks. MCC basketball. Both teams get a win last night, both the men and women's team. Start with the women. They came out with the victory in that game, 67-50. Game that was closely contested in the first half. MCC and Weatherford kind of in a battle in that first half, but MCC started to wear it down on them. They started to out-rebound. They started to get stops defensively, started to get out in transition and get easy buckets. They did what they've done to get to this point, what they've done to be a top 25 team in the nation, what they've done to be one of the contenders for the conference title this year. Also at halftime of the men's game, the team from last year that won the region tournament was honored. They got a chance to get their rings, man. So shout out to Coach Thomas, Coach Smith, and some of the young ladies that were on that team, on this team as well. So shout out to you guys for sure. MCC gets a win. All in all, they get back into the win column with that one. That moves their win streak up to 3. That moves them to 10-1 at home. The times we've talked with Coach Thomas, she's talked about the importance of protecting your home court. They've done a phenomenal job of doing that this year. They're 10-1 at home, 19-4 overall. They'll get a little bit of a break, and they'll play next week on Wednesday against Ranger, at Ranger. Always a tough game when you have to go and play at Ranger. MCC was able to be successful against them when they played about a month ago. They came out with the victory, 63-51 in that game. We'll be looking for more of the same. That was here at the Highlands. Now they have to get on the road, so I expect the game to be a little bit tougher. They've got some decent players for Ranger. Kyla Fields had a good game against MCC their last time they played. Amani Johnson also had a decent game the last time they played. It's hard to go out there and play a Ranger because it's a far trip. They're playing in the middle of the week. It's going to be a Wednesday night when they go out there and play. About a 3 or 4 hour road trip getting down there. So it's never easy to get a win in Ranger. MCC is definitely going to be tested next week. But they come out with the victory last night, 67-50 over Weatherford. You see some of those highlights from last night. It was a team win. Multiple players played great. Sharavia Smith really came out and brought some energy, not only in the scoring department, but rebounding. Laniza Johnson was solid as always. Came over with a few steals on the defensive end, double digits in rebounds as well. So she's playing phenomenal. And then Red Gooding, hitting timely shots, being able to score off the dribble. Great team win overall for MCC last night. On the men's side, the men also got a victory last night over Weatherford. They had a little bit of a tougher game, a more closely contested game than the women did. They won 66-58 in a game that was really, really back and forth. Weatherford was actually leading at halftime by 3 in this game. They were up 33-31 going into the locker room. From then on, MCC was able to create some separation late in the second half. They were able to get good scoring outputs from a few different players. Timmy was effective scoring the ball. Amari Banks was effective scoring the ball. Joseph Mayberry was effective on both sides of the ball. They got a good team win against a tough Weatherford team, man. This Weatherford team's got some guys. Andre Bennett had 12 points. He got in foul trouble early. Josiah Coleman kind of held him over. He had 16 points in that game as well. Really tough game for MCC, but they come out with the victory, 66-58. Like I said, they'll be on the road as well next week playing against Ranger College. Won't be easy playing on a Wednesday night. They've got the late game out of the two. They don't play until 7 o'clock and then have to get right back on the road and be at school in the morning. So it's never easy when you have to travel in the middle of the week like that. But both teams able to get a win last night. The MCC men's team is off to a phenomenal start. Coach Gill doing another great coaching job this year. A 23-1 start. They're on a 16-game winning streak. They're undefeated at home. They're 15-0 at home. This is one of the better starts MCC's had in some years. For them to come out and be 23-0, for them to be undefeated in conference play, 8-0, going on the road to take on the Ranger team before they play against Collin in a couple of weeks, who's probably their toughest opponent. Between them and Temple will be their two toughest opponents, in my opinion, in this conference. They were able to take care of business and handily the first time they played against those teams. I expect MCC to be able to do the same. Ranger is a good team, though. It was a close game the last time these two teams played against each other about a month ago, 68-50. The game was close at halftime. MCC was able to pull away. This time they have to do the same, but on the road. So I expect that to be another tough game for MCC. But definitely expect them to come out with the victory in this game. Like I said, 23-1. They're ranked top 25 in the nation. I think should probably be ranked higher. The next one-loss team in front of them is ranked maybe 7 spots in front of them in the national JUCO rankings for Division I. So I'd like to see MCC move up in that list. I think they will after getting another good win last night versus Weatherford. They'll be back in action next Wednesday as well. Folks, we got a really, really good game coming up tomorrow on Centex Sports Network. We've got the Blend Buccaneers coming down here to Waco, Texas to play against MCC in baseball. That should be a really good outing. Both teams ranked nationally. I'm going to look up and see where Blend sits at right now in the rankings. Both teams are ranked nationally, though. They'll play here on Friday at 3 o'clock. They'll play again on Saturday, but this time it'll be in Brenham. They'll be out there in Blend. They'll play a doubleheader on Saturday. But tomorrow at 3 o'clock, they'll play right here on Centex Sports Network. Blend, number 2 team in the nation. MCC, the number 6 team in the nation for the preseason rankings. So both teams highly ranked, both teams highly touted, and both teams have a lot of star power. There were scouts everywhere this past weekend when we were covering baseball in their opener for the season. I expect it to be even more on Friday with this matchup between Blend and MCC. Is going to be a top 10 ranked matchup. So make sure you guys tune into that tomorrow right here on Centex Sports Network. MCC baseball is off to a good start here so far. Expect them to pick up where they left off, get another win like they did versus Northern Iowa. This time they'll be playing against Blend, who should be a little bit tougher opponent, even though Iowa Western. Who they played? They played against Iowa Western Community College. They were a tough opponent as well. They're a team that's ranked, but Blinn being the number 2 team in the nation, a lot of eyeballs going to be on this game. So make sure you guys, if you don't come out to the Highlands tomorrow, you can tune in right here on Centex Sports Network. MCC 2-1 right now. Lost their first game of the year versus New Mexico Junior College, a team that I'm sure they'll see again, a team that's in their region, a team that they've played in the region tournament many times. They'll be playing against Blinn 2 o'clock, not 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock on Friday. They'll play right here on Centex Sports Network. And then they'll play a second game at 5 o'clock for a doubleheader. Both of those games will be right here on Centex Sports Network. That is tomorrow on Friday, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, MCC baseball. MCC softball will not be back in action locally here on Centex Sports Network until the following week, so they'll get a little bit of a break. They'll be playing on the road this weekend. Let's go over and talk about some Baylor hoops, Baylor basketball. Both teams are playing this week and are playing important games. Baylor played against the men team, played against BYU on Tuesday, a game that I was watching. They got a chance to see the battle of the potential number 1 pick, A.J. DeBonsta and Tunde Yesufu for the Baylor Bears. We'll talk about them. But coming up in about 15 minutes, we've got Baylor women's playing in the top 25 ranked matchup. That game is tonight, like I said, in about 20 minutes, playing against TCU, playing against Olivia Miles, who is probably one of my favorite players to watch in women's college basketball. So this is a must-watch and a must-see. As soon as I'm done here on the show, I'll definitely be tuning into that game to see some star power, man, to see Talia Scott, who's averaging 20 points a game for the Baylor Bears, to be able to see Olivia Miles, who's averaging 20 points a game for the TCU Horned Frogs. Olivia Miles, a transfer from Notre Dame. She was part of the dynamic backcourt between her and Hannah Hidalgo. She decides to leave, comes all the way out here to TCU, kind of following last year, TCU getting big-name guard transfers. This year is Olivia Miles. She's playing phenomenal so far this year. Baylor Bears continue to win. They're on a win streak right now. Last week they were able to get 2 tough victories. One 76-70 versus Cincinnati. Another tough win they got on the road. Both of these games on the road. Arizona State, they played at home. They won that game 67-64. So 2 tough games in a row. Really 3 tough games in a row. They lost to West Virginia 70-60, who's ranked in the top 25. Played a tough one and won against Cincinnati. Played another tough one and won by 3 points against Arizona State. And then tonight, they get Olivia Miles and the TCU Horned Frogs. This should be a great matchup. Anybody that's a Baylor fan knows one of our biggest rivals is TCU. Whenever I go to a Baylor game, the team I would look at as our biggest rival has always been TCU. So this is always going to be a really good matchup. As I spoke about Talia Scott averaging 20 for the Lady Bears this year, playing great. Little Paige Buggs is playing phenomenal for the Baylor Bears. She's averaging 11 points a game and 11 rebounds. One of the top rebounders in the nation. Talia Scott, one of the top scorers in the nation. Coach Nikki Collin has done a great job with the squad this year. Can't wait to be able to watch this game, so make sure you guys tune into that once you get off here on Centex Primetime. Baylor ranked number 12 in the nation. TCU coming in ranked number 17 in the nation. This could be for conference title implications. This could be for bragging rights. And this could also be for top 25 ranking and positioning. So a really important game coming up here in just a few minutes with number 12 Baylor and number 17 TCU. Let's look at the Baylor men's team who, like I spoke about last week, was struggling. They've continued to struggle in Big 12 play. They've dropped to third to last in the Big 12, losing against BYU this past week. Before that, losing to Iowa State in a really, really close game. A game I thought Baylor had a chance to steal on the road. They lost that game 72-69. They give BYU, who's a really good team, with the potential best player in the nation on it, and A.J. DeBonsta. And he came out and he showed it. Why he's considered either the number 1 pick or a top 3 pick, depending on, pick your poison, who you like, Darren Peterson, where you like A.J. DeBonsta, or maybe you like me, maybe you like Elijah Arenas. But DeBonsta proved he's in that conversation for a reason, coming out here to Baylor, playing in the middle of the week, and what ended up being a really good crowd down there at the Pavilion. He drops 36 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, gets a steal as well. BYU wins 99-94. Tunde Yesufu had probably his best game. It's probably the best I've seen Tunde Yesufu play this entire year. He was on fire. Cameron Carr was doing his thing as well. He chipped in with 24 points. But Tunde Yesufu, 37 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists to go along with it. Baylor just continues to struggle, man. They just don't seem like they have enough. Cameron Carr's played great. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. Tunde Yesufu's probably going to be a lottery pick, in my estimation. It just doesn't seem to be enough, even with top-tier talent like that. The surrounding pieces haven't seemed to be enough, whether that's coaching, whether that's the role players they have filling in with guys, whether that's injury. They've battled injuries this year. Whatever it is, this is going to be probably the worst conference finish in Scott Drew's history at Baylor, outside of maybe his first year. Definitely the worst since 2005, 2006, around that time. So 20 years of Baylor being competitive in what has been one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive conference, definitely the most competitive conference this year in what is the Big 12. So to see Baylor kind of sliding like this, it's off-brand for Coach Scott Drew. It's not something that us Baylor fans are used to. Obviously, we're still all clinging on to the national championship in 2021. But in my opinion, we've come a long way from there. I talked about it earlier in the week when Rocky was on here. I don't know if it was a change in culture or a change in recruiting philosophy. Whichever way it's been, we've struggled, and in my opinion, struggled at the point guard position for the last few years since the championship. Since we had Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler and Maceo Teague and those guys, since then we've had good guard play, but specifically the point guard play just hasn't been up to par. And then it always hurts when the guy that was on your team playing point guard last year comes back to Baylor, gets booed, and drops a 30-piece. Shout out to Robert Wright, man. He came back to Baylor, and they booed him. I don't understand why they booed him. I mean, I know the kid transferred, but, man, these is 19, 20-year-olds. It's not even that serious. And what does he do? How does he respond to the boos? Drops a 30-piece, hits a few threes in the game, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. The booing didn't work. To make a long story short, the booing didn't work. Robert Wright comes back, and it bites Baylor by letting him go. Or I'm not sure if they let him go, if he decided to leave, however that went. But he could have been the future at point guard maybe for the Baylor Bears. He leaves and goes to BYU. We haven't had consistent good point guard play like we're used to, like we're seeing the Pierre Jacksons. Before him, the Tweety Carters. Like I said, the Davion Mitchells, the Jared Butlers that we've had over the years. Had good guards. Keontae George is tearing the NBA up. VJ Edgecombe is going to be right up there on the top rookie list for this year. He won't win Rookie of the Year because Cooper's going crazy, but he's in that top 5 with him and Con Knipple, Cooper Flag, and all those guys. So I don't know what it is for Baylor, what has to change, but something's going to have to change. A 13-11 season, 3-9 start in Big 12 play is just not something that Bear Country is used to. It's something that they don't want to have to get used to. We had years of dominance on the women's side with Kim Mulkey. We bring in a coach like Nikki Collin, who had a couple of seasons where they weren't the best, but for the most part, man, she's done a great job. And now in her 4th or 5th season, they're on their way to being top 10 ranked if they can beat TCU in a couple of minutes. And I know Scott Drew, obviously, he's bought himself plenty of time by winning the national championship just a few years ago. But since then, I feel like majority of the Baylor teams have underachieved, whether that be in the regular season, whether that be in conference play, or whether that be in the national tournament. I feel like Baylor's underachieved the last few years. You've had, blue chip talent. You've had Keontae George. You have VJ Edgecombe. You had Jacoby Walter. I feel like they've underachieved this year with 2 guys as talented as Cameron Carr and Tunde Yesufu. To be 3-9, I think is a bad look. In my opinion, it's a bad look for the Baylor Bears. But Baylor, the Lady Bears, are about to be in action in just a couple of minutes. The men's team will be back in action after losing to BYU last. They'll be back in action versus Louisville on Saturday. They'll get an out-of-conference game before they jump back on the road and head to Kansas State to play against Kansas State, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. And then after that, they'll get Arizona State, and then the number 1 team in the nation in Arizona. So it's going to be a rough stretch here over the next couple of weeks. They've got a tough non-conference opponent. It's not like they're playing a cupcake to when they get out of conference. Playing against Louisville, who just got a big win on TV a couple of days ago, who's ranked top 25 in the nation. So that could be another tough stretch here for the Baylor Bears. Just looking to see if we can gain anything out of this. I know Tunde Yesufu is out of here, Cameron Carr is out of here, but can we find some other guys on this team that are able to compete? And I'm not sure if maybe I missed it. Did the guy that came over, the dude that's old, it's like 30, did he get hurt? Because he's out of the rotation. I don't know if that was out of the rotation just because maybe Scott Drew and those guys was fed up with him, or I don't know what happened. But if we're going to bring these old dudes over here, James Najee, is he going to be able to play, or why is he not playing? I know he's old. I don't know if he got hurt. I didn't see any reports of him getting hurt. If he's hurt, that's cool. But if not, man, you might as well play the dude. Not like we winning. We 3-9. Like, you got to see what you got. Some young dudes got to get some action, got to get some burn. See, do we got anything out of some of these other guys? This season's a wash. You're not going to make a comeback. You're not going to get in a national tournament unless you win the Big 12 tournament, which, just being honest, I doubt. I highly doubt. The amount of dogs that are in the Big 12, I highly doubt it. So we got to see what we got with some of these other guys before the season is out. Not too many games left. Let's see what some of the young guys can do. What can some of the young guys come in here and do? But Baylor women, like I said, getting ready to play. Baylor men struggling right now. We'll see, can they get back into the win column. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here on Centex Primetime. When we come back, we've got some quick takes to talk about. We'll talk some NFL, talk a few other things. NBA All-Star Weekend is going on, so we got to talk some NBA All-Star Weekend. So stay tuned. Stay locked in. We'll be right back here on Centex Primetime.
I mean, just to walk in here and see all these fans supporting us is unreal.
That's all you try to do is go out there and focus and do your job and just keep making one pitch at a time.
We on our way to the top, yeah, yeah, yeah. We on our way to the top, yeah, yeah, yeah. They gotta sit back and watch, yeah, yeah, yeah. We on our way to the, we on our way to the, yeah. We on our way to the top.
Look, make sure you mention my name with the greats. Whole lot of talk, but it ain't no debate. We light it up like we causing an accident, but it ain't no mistake. Seat at the table, I carry the weight. They want the beef, so we hide the stakes. Bust in the kitchen and fire the chef.
We on our way to the top, yeah, yeah, yeah. We on our way to the.
We can't be the guys that's gonna be timid and not knowing what's going on. You play hard, you play together. I mean, that's all we ask.
This is what we all have to do.
Be locked in, focus, just be disciplined, all right?
Now I feel like Kyrie, I'ma have to take the shot. If they tryna call me dog, I gotta hit the block. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. I got my black hoodie with a rollie on, eating pasta like Corleone. I don't got time for no fake boy. If you got the money, gon' show me some. I got 2 whips and I'm self-paid. Never got help, bro, I'm self-made. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. Hey, what up, say? Home up in the studio, till I'm locked in. My stock going way up, I got options. Yeah, they fine, but stop playing, you not him. Wait, the numbers going up.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
MCC has definitely benefited me most on not only what I want to do, but who I aspire to be. Expect every professor to help you become who you want to be and more. Create your own success at MCC.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
Son, all your car needs now is a stereo system. Now I know just the spot to go get it. Man, Jack Stereo.
Oh yeah, they're the best. How'd you know about that place?
Probably that's where my dad took me.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm the coolest cat on the block.
Oh my God.
Need a new audio system for your new ride? Jack Stereo has been selling the best stereos and equipment for generations after generations. Come visit your local store today. Those in the know, go to Jack Stereo, Waco, Temple, Killeen, and Bryan College Station.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254 it up. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. Final part of the show here today. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us, not only today, but all week long. We've had a great week. Sports up here on Centex Sports Network. Had the show earlier on in the week. Had some MCC basketball last night. Tomorrow, as I spoke about earlier in the show, MCC baseball. MCC coming in the number 6 team in the nation. Blend coming in number 2 team in the nation. So those will be tomorrow. 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock will be the 2 times for the game. So make sure you guys getting ready to tune in for that. We've got some more things to talk about here as we just wrapped up talking about MCC basketball, talked about Baylor basketball is getting ready to play in just a second down the street from here, playing at the Foster Home Pavilion, playing against the number 17 team in the nation, the TCU Horned Frogs. That game getting ready to come on in just a second. Also talked about the Baylor Bears, the men team, kind of struggling still, losing a close one versus Iowa State, then also losing a close one versus BYU. So you can go back earlier in the show and watch about that. Let's talk about NBA All-Star Weekend, folks. It is NBA All-Star Weekend. I feel like this just used to mean so much more. When I was a kid, man, I used to couldn't wait for the All-Star Weekend, the dunk contest, seeing the three-point contest. The All-Star game, obviously, was always fun to watch as well. It just doesn't have that. I don't know what the NBA can do to get that momentum back towards All-Star Weekend. They're trying some different things out. They're going to do the USA versus the World team. I'll talk about what Kevin Durant said in just a second. But they're trying to add some life back into it. I don't know how well it's going to work. The World team already isn't going to have Luka, so that kind of loses some steam. The NBA leading scorer not going to be playing in the All-Star game. They could potentially be adding Norman Powell to the World team because of injuries. And, I don't know where Norman Powell is from, but I thought he was just a regular dude. I didn't know he was now going to all of a sudden be a European or whatever, something non-American. because they're short on players. This is the kind of the problem that Gilbert Arenas and other people were talking about, saying, okay, we can do the USA versus the world thing, but it's only so many world players going to make the All-Star. And either you're going to have to start big upping guys that shouldn't be All-Stars, or you're going to have to take dudes that are already All-Stars and put them on the world team. So I don't know how that's exactly going to work. If everybody was healthy, I think it probably work a little bit better. But let's look at some of these participants. The NBA three-point contest is going to be, I say decent, because I like some of these guys in it. Devin Booker will be in it. Con Knipple, I like the young dude from Charlotte, man, out the Hornets, actually doing some winning. Shout out Miles Bridges, man, for not backing down from the fade with Isaiah Stewart. He came in with, that I'm bigger than everybody, wild style, caveman type of stuff. And Miles Bridges was about to pick him up and dunk him on his head. Y'all already seen the fight footage at this point. But Cade Cunningham, who we'll talk about in a second for a different reason, Cade Cunningham was there to stand behind him and kind of help him regain his balance. But all that wild man stuff, and, he he had the meme of him doing like this, like he's a bare knuckle boxer. I don't know who posted up like this. I don't know why he did this to somebody and like he was going to give him a knuckle sandwich. I don't know what that meant. But Isaiah Stewart, he wants to be, the bully of the NBA. Miles Bridges was like, hey, man, we ain't going for that. But his teammate, Con Knipple, in the three-point contest, that's how I even got there. I just had to say that while I remembered it in that weak fight the other day. But Con Knipple will be in it. Damian Lillard from the Portland Trail Blazers, yes, Dame will be in the three-point contest. He hasn't played since tearing his Achilles with the Milwaukee Bucks last year. He wants to come back and participate in the three-point contest. I don't see a problem with that. As long as you feel that calf getting tight, my boy, please get out of the three-point contest and go sit down somewhere if you want to have a career. He's 33 years old, coming off an Achilles. If you come back too early, I think everybody looks at KD's Achilles return and says, man, look how good KD's been since he tore his Achilles. KD sat out for like 2 years. KD didn't play basketball for a couple of years. That's why he came back and was so healthy whenever he did come back. That's why he was able to be the same Kevin Durant. Everybody wants to rush back Jason Tatum, practicing with the G League team, Damian Lillard, participating in the three-point contest. I don't know. These guys know more than I do, and they definitely know their bodies and what they can do. But trying to rush back, man, I just hope this doesn't backfire on any of these guys that are coming back a little bit earlier. But Dame will be in the three-point contest. Tyrese Maxey from the 76ers, who's well-deserved All-Star. He made the All-Star team, well-deserved All-Star. A Texas kid. He'll be in the three-point contest. Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Norman Powell, and for some strange reason, Bobby Portis. I know they always kind of, recently they've tried to throw a big man in there. Everybody else probably said no. Karl Towns probably said no in a very sassy way. And so that means Bobby Portis ends up being on the three-point contest. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm trying to look for the dunk contest participants because I know this is going to be weak. First, we got Jace Richardson from the Orlando Magic. Haven't watched much of Jace this year. No dude can hoop. Remember watching him in Michigan State, obviously. Watched his pops in the dunk contest. I'm sure he's going to bring out some jersey or something from his pops and, do some type of tribute dunk. That's cool. Kasheed Johnson from the Miami Heat. No idea who that is. I don't know if he plays for the Miami Heat or if he plays for Miami Vice. No idea who Kasheed Johnson is. Jackson Hayes from the Los Angeles Lakers. Definitely uber athletic, JaVale McGee type of dude. I don't know more of an in-game dunker in my opinion, but maybe he got something. Carter Bryant from the San Antonio Spurs. Haven't seen much of him dunk. I like the kid. I know he's a good defender. I think he's a good basketball player. But come on, let's be honest, y'all. This dunk contest is weak once again. It's weak. We don't have to try to big up it. It's weak, man. The dunk contest is weak. Hopefully the three-point contest is exciting because I know the dunk contest won't be. Let's look at these rosters that they broke up. So the format will be one world team with the All-Stars in it and then two USA teams with All-Stars in it. That'll be the format. The world team has got Giannis, not sure if he's playing or not. Denny Adva, who is a free throw merchant. Everybody wanted to talk about SGA, and man, he's a free throw merchant. All he does is get fouled and try to get to the line, yada, yada, yada. Y'all must haven't seen him play at all. Denny out there in Portland, because he's an ultimate free throw merchant. He can hoop, but come on, y'all. I mean, he's a deserving all-star for this year. I give him that. I ain't taking nothing away from him. Luka Doncic, who won't be playing. SGA, who probably won't be playing. Nikola Jokic, who probably won't be playing. He'll play a very minimal role. Jamal Murray, Alperen Sengun, who I believe got hurt a couple days ago for the Rockets. Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, and Wemby. Yeah, the world team, I don't know how far they're going to get. I know they'll try hard. Jamal Murray, he was already talking noise, all this stuff, yada, yada. I know they'll try hard, but I don't know who they're going to beat. The old head squad, as Katie has named it. Jaylen Brown from the Celtics, Jalen Brunson, Steph, KD, B.I., who just got added as an alternate for, I believe, Steph from the Raptors. LeBron, obviously, Kawhi, Donovan Mitchell, and Norman Powell will be on one team. The second team, USA, will be a younger squad. Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Kay Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey. I like the young guys. I think they're probably going to try the hardest. I think they might win it. Even though, the other USA team has a lot more talent. I think they might win it because they're going to be trying the hardest. They're the youngest. They're going to be, they can get up and down the court. Maxey and Anthony Edwards is two of the fastest dudes in the league. They can get up and down the court. Not many big men, not much of a big man presence. They got Chet, but maybe the old heads can lean in on them a little bit like that. Also, the world team is gonna have a lot of bigs: Wemby, Cat, Sengun, Jokic, Giannis. Pretty much all the bigs in the NBA, all non-Americans. So those will be the games. I'm not sure how this format's gonna work. I'm ready to see it, though. It gives you something to be like, okay, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to play with some pride? They got the USA across their chest. Is the world team going to actually try? I don't know how it's going to go. They asked Kevin Durant about how will the old heads do out there. Will y'all even be trying since y'all are old? Kevin Durant came back, called out the world team, and talked about their lack of effort. Let's listen in real quick and see what KD had to say. I'll try to get the Bluetooth back connected on there, but here we go.
The world team, they won't compete. Because when you look at Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic now, let's go back and look at what they do in the All-Star game. Is that competition? So we haven't questioned what they've been doing, but we're going to question the old heads and the Americans. But these two dudes out there, Luka and Jokic, they don't care about the game at all. These dudes be laying on the floor, they shoot from half court, but you got to worry about the old heads playing hard. I can read between the lines, bro. And I'm just thinking a lot of times, I'm just saying that I can read between the lines. And it's not just about you, it's just an overall topic that everybody's talking about. You just have to ask me that question. You should ask the
I've been critical about Jaylen Brown in the past, but Jaylen Brown is hooping this year. I think KD is right, man. The old heads have been hooping this year, and the old heads are going to go out there and try. Like I said, LeBron's a showman. He's going to try to do his thing. KD is always going to try to hoop. Jaylen Brown has been killing this year. Donovan Mitchell has been killing this year. Kawhi has too, but I don't know if Kawhi's going to try an All-Star game. He's old for real. It's not just a thing calling him an old head. He's old for real. He plays like he's 55. He plays like Michael Jordan when he used to come back to the Bobcats practice and whoop up on him. That's how Kawhi Leonard plays. I don't know how much effort the world team is going to be showing. Yeah, they got some young dudes, but with SGA out, with Luka out, with Giannis potentially out, and Jokic potentially out, man, y'all know y'all getting smacked. I know y'all got Wemby. But let's be honest. Y'all getting smacked. Y'all was probably getting smacked anyway, even with all those dudes. That's a good roster. Even with all those dudes, y'all was probably going to get smacked anyway just because y'all are all slow. Outside of maybe Pat. Man, Pascal not running like that. He 30. So, yeah, all y'all are slow. Any fast break, it's over with. I don't know which team will win. I guess I'd roll with the old head team if I had to pick for who was going to win. But I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure who's even going to try in this format. Is this going to work for the NBA? But we'll get to see it this weekend. NBA All-Star Weekend tips off tomorrow with the celebrity game. Saturday will be the slam dunk contest, will be the three-point contest and the skills challenge as well. And then Sunday will be the real thing with the All-Star game, the one that I just broke down. Let's go through some quick takes here while we got some time left, and we'll talk about some NBA games coming on tonight, the last few NBA games before All-Star Weekend coming on tonight. And we'll also talk a little bit about NFL draft picks, the NFL draft coming up here in April. Let's do some quick takes first. Cade Cunningham, who we just spoke about, is now a minority owner of the Texas Rangers, man. This is the stuff I love to see. Guys spending their money in the right way, guys making a difference. A kid that's from the DFW area, man. He's in Arlington. The park is right there in Arlington. I'm sure he's probably been many times. Both the Rangers Stadium and also the Cowboys Stadium right there in Arlington where he's from. Went to Arlington Martin, I believe, when he was going to school down here, ended up leaving and going to Montverde and hooping on one of the best high school basketball teams probably in the last 20, 30 years. But Cade definitely impressing on and off the court, man. Love the dude's game. Huge fan of what him and the Pistons are doing. But to see this in his off-the-field actions as well, it's definitely great to see, especially somebody young like that, and doing something this major, becoming a minority owner of a pro team for any sport. We've seen, Tom Brady has got stake in the Raiders and a couple of different former players, current players that have some stakes. LeBron famously invested money in Liverpool, back in the day, that I'm sure he's probably 20x, 50x his return on investment since making an investment in Liverpool. Kevin Durant is invested in multiple different leagues, the MLS. He's invested in pickleball leagues. He's famous for his investment, for his business acumen. To see Cade Cunningham already becoming the next one of those guys, the next LeBrons, the next Chris Pauls, the next Kevin Durants, these players that actively invest and actively build their portfolio while playing still. It's great to see Cade getting in on it. Great to see he's got some home value to it. Can't leave Patrick Mahomes out of that too. Mahomes is invested in Texas Tech. He's invested in the Kansas City Royals. He's invested in a few different things. But Cade Cunningham, man, joining those list of athletes that know how to spend their money and that do spend their money to make change and to make I'm not sure how many black minority owners there are in the MLB. I know of Magic Johnson. I don't know of any others. I'm sure there are some. I just don't know of them. But to see Cade Cunningham already join that group, man, that's great to see. Drake said he is done betting. He famously always posts his bets online before, and everybody always says, okay, don't bet with him. He bet on the Patriots, which I don't know why he would bet on the Patriots, but he bet on the Patriots and bet $1 million. Obviously, we all know how that went. Patriots get stumped by Seattle. Yeah, Drake doesn't look like the guy that watches a lot of football to me, or a lot of basketball. I don't know if anybody's out there tailing Drake's picks, but y'all probably should stop unless y'all want to give what I like to call donations. Anybody following Drake's picks, nothing but donations. That's what you're doing. You're giving donations to whatever your sports betting site is of your choice. Let's look at some of the picks while we're talking about some betting and Drake retiring. Let's look at somebody that knows what they're doing making some bets, and that's myself. On the Super Bowl weekend, had a pretty decent weekend with the Super Bowl, man. Had a couple of them that could have been good, but one of them ended up blowing up at the last second, and the other one ended up cashing in. Let's look at the one that cashed in for the Super Bowl. This was super, just digging in the weeds, man, looking for some picks, not going for whatever the obvious ones are, and actually came out with something. Put together a 6-man parlay, a 6-piece dinner with the sides and a drink. I went Drake May, passing yards. Cooper Kupp, 3.5 receptions. Come on, man, that's too easy. Y'all know, like Braun would say, y'all know the Patriots' only thing is we're going to take away the number one. So all y'all that bet on JSN, I knew JSN wasn't going to get a lot of action. If they're going to do anything, they're going to try to take away the number one. And they're going to put that boy Gonzo on, or Christian Gonzalez, who's a monster. So Cooper Kupp, I figured he would be getting a lot of targets, ends up getting 6 catches in that game. The Patriots punter for 4 punts was his number. He ended up getting 8. Drake Thomas on tackles, he ended up hitting on that. And Kenneth Walker rushing attempts, they had him at 18.5. He ended up getting 27 rushing attempts, man. So easy little parlay I put together there. Also took Seattle -4.5, who everybody knows they all covered on that, man. But don't listen to Drake. Y'all should tune into this show called Centex Primetime if you're trying to see what picks to be able to get. De'Aaron Fox is going to replace Giannis in the All-Star game. Giannis officially out. De'Aaron Fox will end up being his replacement on one of the top teams in the West, a team that I think has a chance to actually win the NBA championship if they stay healthy, in the San Antonio Spurs. The way that De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, who is playing out of his mind right now, Stephon Castle, and then obviously Wemby, who's unstoppable, had 25 on my Rockets the other night in the first quarter. I think he ended up with 40. Had 25 in the first quarter. That was crazy, man. So I think they have a chance to win it all. Shout out De'Aaron Fox, though, making his first All-Star, I believe. Going to be a replacement for Giannis out there. Let's take a quick listen into Jerome Tang. He is the head coach of the Kansas State Wildcats basketball, their men's basketball team. Former assistant coach for the Baylor Bears, won the national championship as an assistant with the Baylor Bears. But I've talked about Baylor struggling. Kansas State is really struggling. Kansas State is sitting at the bottom 2 in Big 12 right now. Only team worse than them in the Big 12 is Utah. 1-10 in conference play, 10-14 overall. Can't even really say much because the Baylor Bears only a couple of games behind them, man, which is kind of sad. But he talked about his team and their lack of effort and just their lack of going out there and getting it done. Listen to Jerome Tang real quick.
It's embarrassing. These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. You know, it is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will get this thing right. I have no answer, no words. So y'all got 2 questions, but.
So, hey, man, Jerome Tang just keeping it real. If I'm going to keep my job, some of y'all got to go. He said most of these guys won't be back here next year. Well, that's probably good. If you're 1-10, you probably shouldn't bring back those guys. They're not getting it done. And he said they had 6 a.m. practice the next morning after taking a loss. So somebody's going to quit. You're not even going to have to get rid of everybody. Somebody's finna quit. But, yeah, man, Jerome Tang just keeping it real. I hope they can turn it around up there in Manhattan. I like Jerome Tang. I liked him when he was at Baylor, obviously. Had a couple of good teams with Kansas State. This year, just like Baylor, don't have much of anything. Baylor's at least got Tunde Yesufu and Cameron Carr. I can't name a player from Kansas State, especially not one that's going to be a lottery pick like Tunde Yesufu is probably going to be. So I don't. Shout out Jerome Tang, man. They're struggling. I hope he gets to keep his job. They don't, and hopefully they don't have a quick trigger out there in Manhattan as far as letting him go. Let him try to rebuild this team. Let him get back to Kansas State basketball, what we're used to seeing it with, the competitive teams that they've had over the years. So we'll see, man. The Big 12 is a tough league. It's a tough league. We got 6 teams in the top 25 right now. UCF and West Virginia probably sitting right on the outside of that top 25 as well, and Oklahoma State, who's near the bottom in the Big 12, man. So I think Kansas State will be able to turn it around. Jerome Tang will be able to turn it around eventually. But he ain't lying. Some people are mad about him saying that. He's just keeping it real. Some of y'all got to go. If we sorry, it's my fault and it's y'all's fault as well. Can history possibly repeat itself? 2005, the Philadelphia Eagles, looking back 20 years ago, 2005, the Philadelphia Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, but they lost. 2025, Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, but they win. 2006, Seattle Seahawks make it to the Super Bowl, but they lose. And then in 2026, 20 years later, Seahawks win the Super Bowl. 2007, Chicago Bears win the NFC, get to the Super Bowl, but they lose in the Super Bowl. Do we think in 2027 the Bears are going to get there? My answer, no. Definitely not. Not as presently constructed. Not as presently constructed. I just don't see it happening. Ben Johnson, I got to see more out of Ben Johnson, and I got to say I need to see more from Caleb Williams. Yeah, Caleb Williams turned the ball over, had some untimely turnovers in those games, and especially in that last game that he played in. But, man, there was some terrible play calling from Ben Johnson. I don't see them getting it because I don't even see Chicago winning their division next year. I think if Green Bay can stay healthy, which is a big if, Green Bay stays healthy, they get Micah back, add back to that defense, man, the Packers are going to be tough to beat for anybody in the NFC. That includes the Seahawks. That includes the Rams. Packers are going to be a tough out next year. I know it's way, way too early. We haven't had the draft or free agency to be discussing who can come out of the NFC next year. But I'm just saying I would like the Packers as of right now over the Chicago Bears. So I don't think history is going to repeat itself in that way. Caleb Wilson is going to be injured. He's got a fracture, I believe, in his hand. Fracture in his left hand. No specific timetable right now for his return. Caleb Wilson played great. I think he's a top 5 pick. He's in the argument for best freshman in college basketball. I named some of the other guys earlier. Cam Boozer, A.J. DeBonsta, Darren Peterson. Wilson is in that category. I think Elijah Arenas is in that category as well. The big kid out of Arizona is in that category as well. Caleb Wilson right up there with all the best in the country. But then fracture in his hand, or getting a fracture in his left hand. Hey, bro, you done. I think you put your work in. You played a great game against Duke. You got a chance to experience that Duke-North Carolina rivalry. Hey, wrap it up, bro. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. You're finna be a top 5 pick. Somebody finna give you $10 million, bro. College basketball ain't worth that. Sit out. You're a top 5 pick right now. With it being wrapped up, with the season being over, your season being over, you're a top 5 pick. Sit it out. No reason to come back, bro, and potentially hurt your hand even more before you go to the draft. So Caleb Wilson gets an injury. No timetable right now for that injury, but I think he should go ahead and sit out, man. He should probably be done. Let's take a quick look at the draft. NFL draft coming up in a couple of months. So obviously we'll be doing a lot more draft breakdown up here on the show. We want to look at some of the top guys at each position. If you're just now looking over at the draft or trying to get your mind trying to get in the state of mind of the draft, let's look through some of these positions and some of the players I think are the top guys. At quarterback, he's going to be the consensus number 1 overall pick. For those people that do bet on the NFL draft, which I think is stupid, but for those of you that do bet on the NFL draft, obviously Mendoza for number 1 is going to be the easiest pick. You're probably not even going to win much if you bet anything. I'm not sure exactly what his odds are to be the number 1 pick, but he's a shoe-in to the number 1 pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. His relationship with Tom Brady, the amount of Raiders personnel at the national championship game, him being the leader on an undefeated championship football team in the Indiana Hoosiers, him being a Heisman Trophy winner. I think this is an easy link-up. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to translate in the NFL, but we'll talk about that more and more as we get closer to the draft. But best quarterback, easily Fernando Mendoza. Best running back coming out, I think, is just as easy as we talked about with quarterback. Jeremiah Love is for sure the number 1 running back coming out this year. Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. I like him going to the Chiefs. I've seen that on a few different mock drafts. I don't think he'll make it out of the top 10. So the Chiefs will definitely have to spend some capital to go up there or use that first-round pick to be able to get him if he's still available. At receiver, this one is a toss-up. It's 3 guys I like for that number 1 spot. Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, Carnell Tate from Ohio State, and Mekhi Lemon from USC. All 3 of those guys are a toss-up to me. Jordan Tyson, his only thing I would say to take him out of that conversation is the injury history. He's been hurt a lot from Colorado to Arizona State. But when the dude is on the field, man, the talent is undeniable. I've watched him against Baylor the last couple of years, watched him against Colorado. The talent's undeniable. What he can do out there route running wise, he's got the speed, he's got the size. I think I would have to go for my number 1, man. It'd have to be Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. I think right now is the safest pick at receiver. If the Browns don't go with Spencer Fano maybe at tackle, I think they definitely have to give a look to Carnell Tate with their top 10 pick, man. The size, the route running that this kid has at that size, the hands that he has as well. Mekhi Lemon, easily the best route runner in this draft. I think he's probably going to be the most translatable directly to the NFL. Like his first year, he could come in and dominate in the right scenario with the right quarterback. So either three of those guys are interchangeable in my opinion. At tight end, I like Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. Love what he was able to do this year. He was probably one of their most effective players in the college football playoffs when Oregon was in it. So I think he's a lock for the top tight end. It's a toss-up between the tackle out of Miami and Spencer Fano from Utah. I like Spencer Fano just a little bit better. I think his tape looks just a little bit better than Francis Maioga. But both of those guys, great cornerstones for your offensive line. Caden Proctor, I also think is going to be a really good guy out of Alabama. But my top guy would probably be Spencer Fano. Inside lineman, interior lineman, defensive lineman, I like Peter Woods out of Clemson, probably the most consistent at interior line. Also like Lee Hunter and Christian Miller out of Georgia, Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. I think both of those guys as well would be really good. At linebacker, really the best two linebackers are the two guys from Ohio State, probably in Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. But I'll give the edge to Arvell Reese. I think late in the first round, somebody's going to get a steal, maybe early in the second round. Whoever gets Anthony Hill Jr., I think he's going to be a stud in the NFL. So whoever gets him is definitely going to get it. But my best linebacker would be Arvell Reese. At the edge position, obviously it's a toss-up between David Bailey and Ruben Bain Jr. I'm just going to go with production. I'll take David Bailey, man. I think David Bailey is a guy that's going to come right into the league and have a chance to have an immediate impact as well. So I know Ruben Bain Jr.'s got all the measurables. Obviously, he's a really big guy. He's fast. But his 7.5 sacks to David Bailey going out there and getting 10 more than that, I'll go with the production, man. David Bailey, I think, is a monster. And the best DB, I think it's easy. It's a consensus. It's Caleb Downs. I see some people saying Caleb Downs could fall all the way to 20-something in the draft. I think that's ridiculous. I don't see how there's any way Caleb Downs gets out of the top 10. And if he gets out of the top 10, no way he's getting past the top 15. I don't see how Caleb Downs can get out of the top 10. I know other guys have other positions of need, but somebody's just going to take best player available. He's going to be best player available probably right after the second or third pick in the draft. So Caleb Downs, easily the best DB in this draft. Those are some of the picks I like at each position for the NFL draft. Folks, we're getting ready to get off of here on Centex Primetime. Let's look at a couple of these NBA games for tonight and a couple of these college games. First, Milwaukee versus OKC. Yeah, I got OKC. I think that's simple. Even though they're not going to have anybody out there. SGA's hurt. J-Dub got hurt last night. I'm still taking OKC, man. Milwaukee don't got anything. Shout out to Cam Thomas. Got cut by the Nets. Dropped 25 in his first game. Probably going to drop 30 tonight on Oklahoma City. Portland and Utah will play tonight. Nobody cares about that. Not even the people in Portland or Utah. But I'd pick Portland if I had to pick that game. And then the Lakers will play the final game. LeBron, I think, will be back in the lineup. Austin Reeves supposedly back in the lineup. They'll play against Cooper Flagg and the Temptations. I don't know who else is out there playing for the Mavs. Cooper Flagg and the Temptations. That's who will be out there playing against LeBron, Austin Reeves, and the Lakers tonight at 9 o'clock. Both of those games will be on Prime Video. Folks, like I said, tomorrow, MCC Baseball, top 10 ranked matchup. Number 2 Blend taking on number 6 MCC. That is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. They'll play a doubleheader at 5 o'clock when they'll play the second game. So make sure you tune in. If you don't pull up to Bosque River Ballpark and you can't make it, watch right here on Centex Sports Network, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell so you can get notified so you don't have to wonder, man, I forgot when the game starts. Just click the bell. You'll get notified whenever we go live here, whether that's Centex Primetime, whether that's MCC Baseball, softball, or basketball. You'll be able to catch all the action right here on Centex Sports Network. Thanks, everybody, for watching here on this Friday Eve. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Got a good weekend of sports coming up here. College basketball, NBA All-Star Weekend. MCC's got multiple things on, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Signing off is Jalen Gillis. We'll see you guys next time. Everybody have a great weekend.